Commissioner updates be the first item on the agenda. Scott?
Scott has nothing. Kate. Aaron, do you have any updates to give us?
Nothing. Thank you for checking.
Aaron says no. That's all.
There was a CPC meeting. We approved 400,000 from reserves and 1.1 million in borrowing support for the tennis pickleball project.
Excellent.
Recommended, I guess, the warrant article.
Awesome. Is that from the select board meeting that just happened?
Yeah, that was the. I think you need to turn your volume off.
My volume. Okay. I don't know how I would hear.
I'm trying to do the TV.
He's trying to get it so we can hear Aaron, right?
Okay.
I'm on mute for my speaker here, so it's whatever this got picking up here.
Something's not.
You can go back to the way it was, Dave. It's fine. Thank you for trying.
Should be under expensive.
We don't have anybody from the public here unless they're watching. All right, is that all you have, Saul?
Yes, but that's a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
That's there.
yeah, my volume's all the way down. I'm gonna bring it back up so we can hear Aaron. Okay, awesome.
All right.
Is it yours or mine too?
No,
Okay.
mine's not. And mine's on mute here.
All right, so the next item would be pure.
I did it, yep. Thank you.
There we go. All right. Approval of minutes. Which ones do we have?
I believe she emailed those out to you guys.
It was the ones from
From
last.
last month.
Yeah.
It's from the September 12th, 2022 meeting.
Any issues or?
I don't see the issues.
Want to make a call to vote?
No. Look for a motion.
So I motion to accept the meetings from our September 2022 Parks and Rec meeting.
All right. And I guess since Aaron is on the phone, we can do a roll call. Aaron?
Yes.
Aaron says yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also.
Excellent. Thank you. So we're talking about sorry.
Yeah, no, you can.
It's the Schedule C and C1 grid changes. It's for our seasonal staff employees. Minimum wage goes up to $15 as of January 1. This is to coincide with that. So essentially what you're seeing here on the screen is our C1 grid, which is you can see down here what our C1 staff is. Teacher's aide, which we don't have any. Community education assistant, which we don't have any. We have community education instructors, which stays the same. All those other things all stay the same. On the left side, you see like that's kind of like the grade we use for most of our things. So program aide is our basic employee, minimum wage $15. So that basically took the whole grid, sort of shifted it all in conjunction with the grades that went from $14.25 an hour to $15 an hour on January 1st. So this is to bring that up to speed for minimum wage increase on January 1st. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Alicia Day. Our director, did all right?
Did you okay?
We did, we did. Hold on.
Thank you, John.
So-
Thank you.
Rainey, yes. Kate Jacobson, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, you were in the middle of talking about the Schedule C, C1 review. So did you finish? You guys have
I got
questions?
kind of like I just said that everything had to shift according to the $15. It went from $14.25 an hour to $15 to accommodate the minimum wage increase. And the grid just kind of went right in conjunction with the original sort of like changes in rates all the way through. It stayed exactly the same, except with everybody starting with like 75 cents increase from where they were.
So one of the big things that's super important when we do these Schedule C and, well, scheduled grids, because there's A, B, C, D, all of them. We want to make sure that every single step and every single grade does actually get a positive increase and that there's no negatives. So that is something that I can definitely say for certain with this grid, that everything's in the positive moving forward. Questions, comments, concerns? So this is one that you guys would have to take a vote on. This will be at town meeting. They're doing a few upgrades to the Schedule A, C and C1. We've been on, you know, I don't know what, it's been the last 5 years, I think, to be able to get to this $15 minimum wage. So this is the last one we have to do for a while, maybe.
So,
Nice.
sorry, so town meeting approves this or we?
So you guys can, so you would approve that of this grid. It's one of those things that when you look at the documentation for the warrant, it would say it's supported by Park Commission. So yes, that's something that we would put in there as part of that document. So,
Just so you know, Aaron's on Zoom.
hey, Aaron,
Hi.
there he is.
This is a quiet voice from over there.
Yeah.
So,
You're usually like very heavenly, you come across very well. Yes.
so in terms of on the left here,
Mhm.
are those quarters in the future where Massachusetts is increasing it, or is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Right here.
Yeah, where it goes across the line, step.
No, so
No, okay.
the way that this works is if you were hired in as a program coordinator, that's the one of the lowest. I just,
So we're made.
what am
I'll do
I,
it.
I
I'll do it
know,
next
I
time.
was just talking to Michelle.
Program team.
I know, that's
So
so,
1, yes.
I couldn't have made a worse like mistake.
It's
That was
fine.
really bad. I know. A program aid 1, which is technically a seasonal position, which this is a seasonal grid. So if you have never worked before and this is your very first job, you would start at a grade 1, step 1. If you come back the next year, and you do it again, you would go in as a grade 1, step 2. So it allows us to be able to hang on to amazing staff like our Camp T director, who's been with us for ever since he was
Time.
that big.
Yeah, so
Um,
Kate, if you look at the positions there, they all fall in the grades, right? So a junior counselor, which would be someone that is not of 18 years of age, they would be a grade 1, step 1 their first year. Their second year, they come back as a step 2. A senior counselor starts at grade 3.
Yeah.
It's that like a lead, like, you know, kind of Adley and Carrington Kidlin, like those guys who lead groups, those girls, they would be a 5. And then 7 of them is our specialists. Grade 8 is our assistant director, grade 12 is our director. And then you have all of like Tim's speech staff. And you can see where they fall in there. Their first year, they come in as a 1, and then they move through that grid as they get their like years of service.
Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't sure if it was Massachusetts was bumping
Right.
it up, if that's what.
No, it's just.
As far as we know
like,
right
only
now,
grid.
all right, it's gonna stop
15
at
for-
8.
for on.
All right, I don't think it's it.
Fine, thank you.
I guess the other question I would have, given the environment, I don't know what it would be as this comes into effect, but I know I've certainly heard from other recreational organizations, commercial, not public, but
Okay,
that pay rates are going up.
I know.
Is this competitive? Are we going to be able to get good
Yeah.
people?
So that was one of the things that was an important component of creating this one. You know, our lifeguards start, if you've never been a lifeguard before, is gonna start at a 1661. And we have space from grade 5 to grade 6 for the lifeguards, which is pretty competitive, at least for this upcoming summer. However, the DCR starts at like $20 an hour. So there's certain things where, you know, we really just can't compete. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a game, shell game that we have to play. Yeah.
Yeah, just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
The market may change
I know. I know.
by springtime, but
Right.
at the moment at least.
And I mean, we do usually, for our programs, we're very fortunate and we're able to get a lot of staff that return. So, you know, that's one component that we have on our side. The other is that, especially with the lifeguards, I'm like, oh, I knew it was coming. We do in-house training. So
What's up?
Boss says put it on 45 and you gotta
mine's on.
turn yours off. And then we should
No,
hear,
mine was
Zoom
off.
people over on the speakers overhead or there.
Can you,
I'm sorry, can your Zoom person speak up?
Oh, Aaron.
Yes.
Oh,
ah,
okay.
okay.
Oh,
You
What do
gotta
you
turn
mean?
off your.
mine's off.
microphone.
Mute your microphone.
It is. I think all of it is.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Like I can move away. Come closer to Saul here. I don't know if that helps. Helps to like, hi.
Apparently I'm still young enough to hear the noise. That's
Yeah.
Oh, Jenny, we're talking.
that's not workable.
All right, I will keep going on.
Or turn your speaker mode?
I did that too. Yeah. I have no idea. I don't think it's bad. Sorry, Dave, I'm not sure.
Well, that's boss.
All right, so, any other questions about this?
So do we need a vote on this?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
I'd like to make a motion.
I will make a motion that we move their minimum wage to $15.
How about to accept the schedule as presented or to support?
I
this?
like that as well. I'll make that motion to accept the schedule as presented.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right. Roll call vote. Aaron?
Yes.
Really, you have to keep talking because as long as you're talking, the hiss goes away. Scott?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
I'm a yes as well.
Okay, we just got another reason to go through things quickly. Okay, so, this is where I was right before, select board meeting. I did ask them to create an open space and recreation planning committee. Aaron, you are on the implementation committee, but you will, more than likely be the representative on this, planning committee as well. So, it kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything going on at town meeting. So, our town administrator asked me if I would take up this banner, so I'm gonna take it on. So the previous 2016 open space and recreation plan expires in not this November, but the following November in 2023. And there is a very strict deadline. So the new plan must be submitted to the Commonwealth, or we will lose our eligibility for grants that are available through the Division of Conservation Services. And there's some really big ones, like the park grant is, we really would love to have access to that. That's something that's great to be able to have. So the 30,000 was already approved from CBC to compile this report. So currently I'm working with the assistant town administrator, and we are working on a request for quote to be able to find a vendor that can come in and help compile this whole document. And that company will also be working with this open space and recreation plan committee. So yeah, so that's just kind of the update on that. Any questions on open space recreation?
Do we have a vendor in mind? Was there a vendor from the last time around or?
We talked about that. I would say overall, we weren't exactly thrilled with the outcome of that. It kind of put conservation against recreation, it was really kind of an odd experience. So, this go round, you know, when I was talking to the select board just moments ago, I was suggesting a more diverse group. So we would have, you know, one person from the park commission, but we would have conservation, agricultural committee, planning board, trying to think of all the other ones offhand, but it was a much more well-rounded group of individual, rather than just kind of a large group of conservation, one recreation person. So, so yes, we're hoping to do things a bit differently this time. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. This little chestnut. So I feel like we've talked about this forever for the last like 2-3 years. But we're gonna do it. We're moving forward. So one of the things that we talked about in the past was compiling this statistically valid community needs assessment, which is what we're gonna call it now instead of a statistically valid survey. So this is something that we can compile statistically valid data to be able to put into this open space and recreation plan. So again, this kind of sounds similar, so I have to try to keep the two separate. We will also be finding a contractor or vendor that has the ability to conduct a statistically valid survey. So what that means exactly is it's a non-biased process. We hire a company to come in. They look at, they'll meet with us and say, you know, what are you trying to figure out? So we're looking at trying to understand what the needs are for the community in reference to recreation facilities, programs, parks, all of those things. So that's going to be the main component of it. We also talked about putting some questions in there, perhaps about trails and things like that as well. So the data is going to go into the open space and rec plan. So this company, it's really fascinating. They will look at the population data from for our town. And they figure out the correct percentages of ages, backgrounds, kids, non-kids, all that, and figure out the statistical map out of our community that they have to meet a certain percentage to be able to get to a 98% accuracy rating. It's really wild. So once they have determined all of that, they will actually start to implement that survey once it's been completed. And it should take probably about 3 months to complete and get that data back. But they do a combination of, they will send out like something in the mail, then they'll call people, then they'll email, they'll do Zoom, like whatever it takes to be able to get those numbers that they need to get that 98% accuracy rating. That's their charge. So you know, it's a really scientific method to finding out what people want that we haven't done in the past, and a lot of other communities do it. So this is something, you know, we felt was really important to be able to bring to this next open space and recreation plan. So we're hoping that we can start that process, get that person on board, and then hopefully by winter we'll be able to get that data. Yeah.
So they design the survey questions as well.
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah, and these are like national companies, and they specifically focus on doing recreation and community movement. Yeah, it's a niche. All right. Tennis and pickleball courts update. So CPC deemed this as an eligible project, which is fantastic. And they also approved the amount of 1.5 million, with 400,000 being taken from that recreation bucket, And then the rest of it will be paid through debt services. I think over 15 years is what they decided, at like a 4% rate. There were a couple
I don't
options.
know if that was, yeah, I don't, if that was determined.
Okay, if that was still a for question. But they did approve that, the 1.5 million, which is the base model that we talked about previously. But would give us a little extra funding that hopefully we might be able to get a playground, but we definitely want to make sure that the walking paths are, have asphalt on them, rather than just, stone dust. We want to make them accessible. Yeah. Anything, you were at the meeting, anything
I mean,
more?
yeah, I think it was both the accessibility and also having the court maintenance improved by not getting stone chips on.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and then, yeah, I think there was certainly some questions about the design that which would change and adapt. And then also
So next steps, the request for the funding through CPC is on the town warrant, so that will be coming up in November. And then we want to be able to have public hearings. We need to communicate with folks that live around that area, community at large, and just get people's ideas and thoughts. So one of the things that I was suggesting is our November Park Commission meeting, that we have a space for a public hearing. We might want to find a different location, maybe like at the library if possible, just to allow more individuals to be there. But that's just something that, is, if everything goes forward as planned, I think that would be beneficial for us to host that and talk to you.
What day is town meeting?
Town meeting is.
Is it before our next meeting?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is before.
but
Yeah.
only by a week or a couple of days.
I want to say it's November. Not right. Okay. I thought it was November 1st. That Tuesday.
Which days would be a week after?
Usually Monday, but not-
Yeah, right. Sorry, we've been having issues with Outlook all day, so my calendar is not
7th.
quite what it should be. No. Yeah, I think it is the 1st. I will
Okay.
get back to you and I will let you know that.
It is on my calendar for the first week.
Is it? Okay. No. So that would be excellent if you are available to come to that. It's a good process. All right. And I think I had, so this was the last draft design that they had. As Saul had said, we won't really know what we're going to be putting in until we start working with the actual crew that's going to be constructing it, right? So this was just the base design that we had gotten from places. And I don't know that it's really changed too much from the last time you and I saw it. Yeah. He might have added some more hedges in there because, we were definitely concerned about being able.
Was the entrance to Cooper that's there now the same entrance that they would use to enter this, or is there a separate?
Yeah, no, you come in the road onto Cooper. And
Yes.
then there's a,
And then there would be an access
that little
off of
Yes.
that. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted, I didn't,
Yeah. And I think one of the select board members was thinking the lollipop was taking up a lot of space that was not necessary. So there were some other.
There were reasons we
Yeah.
added that in, being like, if this component here is actually gonna be a field, that would allow parents to drop off for soccer and just kind of rotate out, yeah. But this, one of the main things that we did talk about this is having an entrance or an exit on Great Road this is like the worst spot, because it's at a bend at the top of the hill, and it, like, we don't even need to have a traffic study to know that that would be a disastrous place to put that, so, yeah, we will be looking at entrance over here. You think you can see my arrow? You can.
Yeah.
Yay, all right. Any questions you wanted to have?
I guess in terms of the, I mean, we can have a public hearing, is there also? How are we gonna provide feedback to either, is it Places doing the design work and then a construction company doing the actual implementation? Or-
So we haven't actually gone out to bid for the work. So right now, all that we have done with Places is just kind of a feasibility study. What we could put in that space and how much it would cost us. So that's essentially all we have for this project.
So the next step is to bid for both design services and construction.
Right, so if everything goes forward and it's accepted at town meeting, then that would be the next step with to find somebody to be able to do that.
So there's time, which is some time to give input and feedback and adjust the plan.
Yes, absolutely.
And is our timeline still that this has to kick off or be done by spring?
We're trying, yeah. I think, you know, the important component that town administration really wants to make sure that if we're taking a facility away, that we're bringing that online as soon as we possibly can. So I know that was very important to them to be able to replace that as soon as possible.
Just don't want to sacrifice quality.
I hear you,
It's the
absolutely.
last thing
That's
you want.
not,
You know,
yeah.
you're spending the money and all this stuff,
Yeah.
and you find out that they rushed it for some reason, now you're
Right.
going back 3 months later to.
And I will not let that happen. I like,
Especially in winter time, when you're doing
Uh-huh.
construction and you're doing concrete
Oh,
and cement,
please,
those things
no.
don't act well with,
right,
so I mean, you know, a lot of that stuff can't be pushed.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the fine line between trying to fit it into a schedule, but also making sure that,
Yeah.
you know, we're doing it correctly.
and I've given them alternative plans so that if for some reason that we're not able to be able to complete this in spring, which I would rather do alternatives than,
Yeah.
like you said, brush. You know, we can paint lines elsewhere to be able to keep pickleball running, and we still have tennis courts at the high school. So that wouldn't satisfy the needs
Right,
of the users, but it's an interim
Sure.
till they're able to complete it. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
All right. What?
Do we get any feedback from finance committee?
Oh, no, they're meeting tonight about
Yeah,
this.
now.
Yeah, they're meeting right now. Yeah. So I can send you guys an email, or you can look up the meeting tomorrow. I'm not sure where it's going with that. So special events update, we had our Oktoberfest. It was amazing. It was kind of a gloomy, rainy morning, but definitely the weather turned around. It was still a bit chilly, but we had a blast. It was an awesome community event. We had so many people coming up to us, just thanking us for, you know, providing this and getting the opportunity to see people they haven't seen in forever and to be able to interact with them. And yeah, it was just a really wonderful family friendly event, and so happy we've added it into our special events, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to continue to do it. So it's great. So these are just some fun photos. We've had the cake toss competition and the Stein Heist, which is a pretty funny competition because the glasses themselves weigh a lot. And then they have to have a full liter of water in there. So I think they were 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Coming up, we have trunk or treat. So that will take place on Friday, October 28th. And that is going to be in a new location this year. So we'll be holding it at the Alumni Field parking lot. And we're actually going to work with the PTA and we're going to show a movie on Jet Field. So we have trunk set up. So if anybody's listening and watching and you want to be able to be part of it, you can sign up to have a trunk at the event and pass out candy to the kids. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to register. So you just have to register online. And people get crazy creative with what the trunks are going to look like. It's, you know, whatever vehicle you have. So a perfect example, we always like to come up with a theme. So this year we're doing Jurassic Park. So we will be using the iconic John Kazanjian Jeep for our theme. So, you know, whatever you can do to kind of work in a car to your theme would be great. Herbie, I've not seen yet. That'd be an interesting one. I've seen Herbie a lot. So we'll have a costume parade again. So the kids will come in their costumes. We'll actually have the trunk or treating for about an hour. We bring in DJ Mike Pride and he does this awesome dance party with the kids. So that's the Monster Mash. And then at 7:20-ish, it depends on the darkness, we will have a family movie on Jet Field. So we have not decided what that movie is. So if anyone has any suggestions, please let us know. Kid friendly, please. Thank you. Much for everybody.
Mildly terrifying.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I watched that a little too young, so no grumbling.
The birds.
So this is another really amazing program, event that we get to put on every year. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's a great time.
I think the middle school is also having a dance that week.
Oh, no,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna make a note of that. It's not gonna change anything,
Right, that's changing.
But-
But
yeah,
just
middle school dance.
parking, traffic, et cetera, maybe.
Yikes, okay. I will bring that up to guest. All right. Director's report. All right, so finances we're doing really well. One thing that we've just found out recently is that there's been some coding issues with Munis, so I'm working with finance department to fix those. So we have 3 accounts right now. So we have the enterprise, which we are trying to spend that money down. We have the revolving, which is what we will be using moving forward once the enterprise is out of money. And we have a general fund. So essentially, the general fund is just wages for myself, for Assistant Director Tim, and for our office coordinator Kelsey. And it looks like for some reason, even though we put the correct account numbers in there, it was taken out of the general fund, or sorry, the enterprise anyway. So we'll have to do a general entry. Well, find out what the problem is with Munis to fix that. And then we'll do a journal entry to be able to swap that money back to where it needs to go. So, yeah, I think the budget presentation will get a little bit more interesting as we advance into these 3 different accounts. So any feedback, if you want like clarity, I am totally open to it, however you want to see it. So, yeah, where we are right now, like I said, you can see with the expenses and wages for the general fund being, you know, expenses 16,000 and wages 8,000. There's definitely, you know, there should be a lot more money out there right now. So we will fix that. And then currently, as we are at 268,000, which is really good for us moving into the winter. And the club program has just been doing amazing. You know, we're lucky to have just this amazing staff and have a great program, and you know, the numbers We went from pre-COVID having like 10 to 15 kids a day up to, 45 to 50. So it's pretty amazing to see that program expand and do really well. So, yeah, I mean, we're just in that place right now where, the club is really the only big program that we have. We have a few community education programs that will be starting, and a lot of registrations for skiing are picking up right now. So skiing will be the next big taking on project. So, yeah, you gonna volunteer again? Yes, he says.
So it's Sugar Lane and Russell Street, are they going to Wachusett and Neshoba?
So very interesting question. Neshoba, the prices were really crazy. And so we can't really make head or tails of it. So we said we would give people the option that if they wanted to go to Neshoba. So Shaker Lane is Neshoba because that's, they're smaller kids. Russell Street has the choice. They can go to Neshoba or they can choose to go to Wachusett, which is a lot cheaper. Like a couple $100.
And is there gonna be buses
Yes.
at separate times? So it'll be a.
I'm not sure. Now I wish Cass was still here. I'm not sure how exactly they're gonna work it, but yes, they will have transportation worked out, so the timing is done correctly.
It might be good to put out some sort of clarifying information, because I know the listing says the bus leaves at 2:30, which is appropriate for middle school,
Mhm.
but not Russell Street, I think.
Okay,
Well, Russell Street is just getting released, I think, at 2:30.
so what they'll probably do, and we did this for programs in the past, is that we would go to the school that was getting out at earlier, and then we would get those kids changed. And then a staff member would meet the kids at dismissal and get them together so that the bus would come over and pick them up on the way out. So it's a little bit of logistics, but we can handle that. Yeah. So yeah. Old hat, we got it down. But I will definitely bring that up.
Yeah, I think we were certainly confused, so.
Okay. No,
I'm like, I have
only
only wrinkle I have to discuss now.
Oh.
I realized that was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Conundrum.
right?
Right.
Sometimes too much choice can be challenging. How they do. All right, so. All right, any questions about any of our finances? And I'll have a new version of this. I am working with Steve Venuti, who is now our interim town treasurer. So he used to be our town treasurer. He was on FinCom, and after our newest treasurer left, he came back on very graciously. So that was very good of him. So we're working on editing the old forecasting model to include these three accounts. So we'll have a better forecasting model, which would be really great.
I think my only comment is that for the yearly income, I don't know if we have to go back to like 19 as a reasonable reference point, but I think everything in between is basically useless.
Oh, I know.
That's reference information.
I hear you. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe either have them all there or.
Yeah.
But I think. 20 was
Dismal.
COVID. It doesn't mean anything useful to us.
Not at all.
And 21 was finance mix or forced and isn't really useful.
Yeah. 22 is pretty useful.
22, yeah, so 22. should be
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
But in terms of.
I know we have a
Phenomenal.
whole of data.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. But that's going to be absolutely true everywhere.
Well, yes, for 20 is definitely a,
I know.
but,
We're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. You just, yeah.
but 21
Move on.
is, 21 is all for
I hear
for
you.
town reasons, not more global reasons.
Yeah, but there was an effect on that too. You know, at that
That's-
point in time, we still weren't able to do the after school program.
Yeah.
We weren't running it. So there were definitely still impacts from COVID at that time.
Yeah, but I mean, I think just on sort of trends,
Right,
usefulness or pattern, seasonal pattern,
Yeah.
trends usefulness, going back to having 1819 or something as a reference point, so we can look at that
Okay.
is more useful than
yeah.
I agree.
I
20
agree.
to 21.
Yeah. And I mean, this is another really important reason for us to do that statistical survey. Because I think even if we would go back and look at 1819, there's been so much change.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I can't even put words to it. You look at the numbers of how many people have like moved in and moved out and houses built and, you know, all of it's just, it's changed so much.
Is there any opportunity in that to look forward? Given what we know about what's likely to be coming?
That's a great point. I was just gonna wait a few minutes to see if that came up. I was just gonna say with all these, you know, again, we're going back to hire somebody with stats. Are they gonna take into consideration that within 3-4 years, it could be an additional,
Yes.
whatever, 300 departments, whatever it is, IBM, some other
Yeah.
things going on. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
Is that? That's a
I
great
mean,
question,
so
great
what we would do, so as far as that being part of this, I would say no, because it's not here right now. So typically communities do these type of surveys about every 3 to 5 years. And I would say that as soon as that comes on, we should do another one. Because that's definitely going to impact what the community is going to want need at that point in time.
Yeah, and I think we even need to think more proactively than that.
Okay,
And I mean, right now, there's not even, I mean, as far as I know, they have not yet submitted a proposal.
Right, and it's still no agreement on sewer either, so I don't.
Right.
We're not right,
So
yes.
there's a lot.
So,
there's
but
a
I
lot.
think
up there,
as
Yeah,
those things start to firm up, they have permits and schedules. Probably thinking about where we want to sort of forward planning, where we want to go, where we want to be as you add different apartments, different housing, different groups to change the proportion is where.
right, yeah, absolutely.
As well as, you know, their rent or buy or
Right.
size, that all could impact kids coming in
Who's
or
right.
adults coming in, you know, which could skew what the need is as well.
Absolutely.
I did hear something about a soccer field on top of the garage too.
On top of a parking garage at 550?
Well, I think they did that at the site in Lawrence.
Yeah, I've not heard anything about that.
Somebody. brought
This is kind of one of those like, throw it in there
In the
and
back of your head.
yep, it'll be there, but
Please make sure the walls are high.
I know, right? Yeah. Listen, if that happens, that will be a private structure.
The accidents all over the pond.
495, that's all you see. All right, so I wanted to give you an update on 41 Shattuck Street. So this is within the last 12 hours, if you can believe this. So the floor is currently being installed. So the picture that's on the very top was when they had ripped out all the carpet and skim coated it. That was about 2 weeks ago. And then literally maybe 2-3 hours before our meeting, I took that other picture. So the flooring is coming in very nicely, looks great. And then I've been coming in over weekends to try to paint and get it ready. So, yeah, we're coming along, very excited. The staff's super excited about getting in there in that new space. So we're hoping that, I know we were like September, yay! Listen, we were like, we'll be positive and like, if we hope for September, it's gonna happen. Middle of October, it's gonna happen. So yeah, we're hoping that, not this week, but hopefully sometime next week, we might be able to transition everything over there. And, you know, I definitely want to be able to have some sort of open house, you know, welcoming, so people can see the second floor and the third floor, because I think there's still a fair amount of people who haven't seen the third floor yet. So, yeah, we'll have to figure out when we want to schedule that, probably on a weekend would be my guess. And have people come through and check them.
Did you say your current offices are gonna be storage then? Is that what you said?
So my office and Tim's office and the area where our front desk is, that's just gonna be empty.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's been talks about IT going in there or potentially Elder and Human Services using those as kind of like private meeting areas. So not sure exactly what's gonna happen with that, but with Elder and Human Services making the decision that they weren't gonna move until the senior center is built, and I understand that. We did decide that the area where Kaz and Brent are right now, that we will keep that as storage. Because one of the issues you have with the library is storage for them is all on display. So there's not a whole lot of storage space that's available there in the old library. So yeah, we have to get kind of creative because we have a lot of things that we have to store. All right, what do you think? It's nice.
It's nice, yeah. And it's, you're gonna have some of that as like activity space, is that?
So yeah, the hope of it is that we're gonna try to figure out a way to divide those two spaces so that we can have two studios. And they can be, we can have yoga classes. The club can use it for homework space that's separate from all of those wonderful, distracting, lovely things that, yeah, we have up on the third floor, so they can actually focus on their homework and do it. So, you know, we plan on using the space for a lot of programming that we do. So yeah, I think we even have some programs starting at the end of October that are already booked, in that space. Yeah. All right. No new business. I will remind again, Aaron, did you hear me? Reminder to send in headshots. You cannot have Tony Danza.
Okay.
All right, so yes, if you can send those in, it would be really awesome if we can update the website with all of that. It's just something extra and special that we can do that I think, you know, it would be nice if the rest of boards and committees did that. So yeah, we'd very much like to be able to do that. All right, and with that, it is that time. And just another reminder for a trunk or treat. If anybody's interested in doing a trunk, that's what makes the event. So please volunteer, dress up the trunk, come give out candy. Yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Aaron?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.